Well, welcome back to Crispy's Projects, and we've managed to get the 914 here to get rolling road tuned and all the carbs set up. So hopefully we'll be able to get it all sorted. And we're also repairing the roof while it's off. Some of the headlining sagged, so that's outside. So if you remember the last episode, we stripped down the brakes to try and fix the front end. And to be fair, it's done a bit of mileage and it's running a lot more better, the brakes. All four's going to need resealing and we'll get them stripped off and done, but as it works now. So what we're doing here is actually setting up all the linkage. So one job I did actually do on it last night and this morning was to check the valve clearances, because there was one that was a little bit off. So I've set them all down to 0 lash, which is quite hard because 0 is quite hard to measure. She starts up alright, so time to get lid cones on.
Someone's 3D printing that because you can't get it. We've got problems.
So the pink one's the
first one.
Yeah, it's definitely, you can see how much better it is on torque.
And you've got torque at the top.
Yeah.
So it's either equal to or less than.
Yeah.
And just advancing the ignition.
Yeah, so it's slightly better, a lot lower down, but it's losing a lot all the way through.
So let's try retarding it, see if that's any better.
Yeah. It's marginally smoother, isn't it, around there on the torque, but not massively. It just doesn't. So that's with it slightly retarded.
actually gain top end power.
Oh yeah,
Lost mid-range. Which is no good to you whatsoever.
No.
I mean, what was?
So that's up to 7,000.
No, 6.2. That's speed on the bottom.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's a 914 all tuned up. What we used was an eddy current dyno, and we all talk about dyno numbers. The main thing is we've got overlays from one setting, another setting, and all the carbs have all been set up really nice. So I'm going to drive that later. I'm just letting Murray have the first pleasure of taking it for a run. Let me go and catch up with him. He's probably gone now, isn't he? I'm so much better. There's a few little pops and bangs. Oh, one gear. Let's try again. Right, we're in fourth. I've noticed I've got to come down. I've not driven it for a good couple of months. It is really nice to be back in it. Funny enough, the brakes seem to have bedded in nicely. Seems to be working. Low down torque is a lot more better. So we spent a lot of time on an eddy current dyno. Just checking, tuning, tweaking the ignition curve, tweaking the fuels every so often, and everything seems to be really good. We actually found our first power run, we gave a bit more power mid-range. The type that I've let Murray drive it, considering it's his car, for the first good stint home, and I'm just taking it through the little lanes, and it drives so much better. Listen to the pickup. The brakes seem to have bedded in nicely as well, so it's not pulling too much to one side. I think it was to slam on, but those front brakes definitely need rebuilding properly with a seal kit. Hopefully that's going to be coming quite soon. And it's nice to have the top off. It's like having a convertible again. So sorry for not chatting a lot while we're actually at the dyno. It's quite noisy, but the main thing is that we spent a good amount of time just tuning the carbs up, setting them up, which made a hell of a lot of difference. So it's essentially 4 separate carburettors. They've all got to be balanced and matched and all perfect. So it takes a bit of skill, to be fair. Aid was doing a lot of it by ear. And that's just the experience going through way before we start getting on the dyno. Altering the timing, both advancing it and retarding it, because we never knew from when it was set up how far out it was from where it was supposed to be, or where the optimum settings is. And as it turned out, we went from losing power to then gaining a bit of power higher up, but then losing mid-range torque. Mid-range, oh, that's not good. So no point losing mid-range torque for the sake of nothing if it's not drivable. If we're spending our entire time doing 4,000 RPM and above, hey, fair enough. But also to be able to drive it through town as we are now. I think I might give the clutch a little bit of a tweak, but it pulls nice. Quite happy with that. And a few little pops and bangs. Kids nowadays pay extra for that. So we're going to have a nice gentle drive home. So the dyno print-off's actually in the boot of the car. We're from memory, it's about 102, 105 at the wheels, which depending on gear box ratios, that probably equates to about 125, 130, but it's the torque value which really makes the difference. So it's really peaky mid-range. So the main thing is that you're comparing runs on a particular, making a tweak and comparing it to whether you've improved it